Alright everybody, welcome back, and we got ourselves the guide for season 117. Last season we ended off at like, I don't know, it was somewhere in the 20,000s. And we know for a fact, after all that, a PSA to never run a full Z tier team unless you know what you're doing. Which is why this season, I thought I was going to run a Z and S tier only team. But then I come back a few hours later, and then it's changed to boss fights. So yeah, I still have the Z and S tier teams made up. But I've also got boss fight teams. So I'll showcase what the initial plan was. Then I'll showcase the new plan. But firstly, we're going to get into the pathing. And as you can see here, this is the pathing that we're running with here. It does look like as if it's got a lot of circle fights, which to be honest with you, it does. But they're not red until you get to the second half. And that's it. The second half is where the majority of everything happens. Because, yeah, it's just a state. Even though the first half's not really that much better. But, yeah, it's just going to be a lot more difficult in the second half. Because the boss fight and then the fight before that. And a couple of fights in between there, which we'll get showcased in a bit. So, yeah. And as of now, we're going to be going into the pathing. And our first matchup would have been against this here, Uni Reps. Very simplistic, easy enough to deal with. You've got two stunners, and you've got someone who can get gauge up by killing people, someone who gets gauge in general, and then just damage the other with a cover changer. That's it. As soon as you get rid of these two, if you're on a strike team, beware the 17 because he does have a cover change. But get rid of the two stunners first. I would suggest Tien over Roshi, because Tien can get a super attack off his stun. So get rid of him first. And then I would probably leave 18 or the Krillin to last. Preferably maybe the 18 because Krillin can actually get a super attack up quite quickly. But otherwise, easy enough fight. Now this here is the next fight that's up against here. We do face this here a couple times, so I might as well just go over it now. And Broly will have a cover change for somebody. Broly here is a bubble shield, Gohan's got the aggro, and Videl's a good support. Now the way you want to do this here is if you've got a regen team and you've got Buhan on the team, you don't have to worry about his aggro. Otherwise, he's like the only character that I'm aware of in the game that does that. So the way you want to do this here is if you don't have him, Gohan, just attack him first, you might as well. You're going to be attacking him first, might just kill him by that point. Videl will be your next target because of the buffs and the support she gives. Then it will be this Broly because, I mean, yeah, no, you'd rather just get rid of him. Goten will be next. Then you can either leave Broly or Goku to the end. I would suggest Broly because of the bubble shield, so that way, even if you don't fully kill him, you at least have the rush to go up against with him. But otherwise, not too bad of a fight. Okay, now this here, actually I'm going to highlight here. Because yes, this is Super Warriors team. Yes, it does look easy. But you gotta be wary that this Yamcha has a blast mitigation. Roshi has a stun. You got a tag unit. And you've got a suicide bomber, funny enough. If you get him below a certain HP threshold, which will be 50 or below. I'm not even too sure, that's why I'm saying 50 is usually the max that suicide bombers have. And we'll get onto that later. Then Tien here does debuff you. So be wary of his debuffs and try and get rid of him earlier, if you can. And then Yajirobe's just there, but he's actually somewhat of a damage dealer. So I wouldn't say he's a main target, but don't sleep on him, if you know what I mean. Okay, now this here fight, the Ginyu Force fight, I wasn't actually going to bring it up, but, you know, just to make sure everyone's aware, the 3 strike cover changes on this thing, you'll more than likely get one off, if not none, and that one will probably be from the Ginyu, but get rid of these two first immediately, you've got the board restly sorted. Especially get rid of Jason Burter, Jaiter first. Jason Burter, get them out of the way first, then Goku, and leave Ginyu to last. Simple enough fight after that, no worries to you. I know this is a different version of the original movie's fight, because you've got new Brolys, and you've got new Goten and Gohan. And beware of this Gohan because he has a universal cover. In other words, if you use a strike or blast, not health mitigated, he will cover change for somebody. But this Broly here is a stun, so I would get rid of him first. Then these two are to support, and you'll be fine enough. Leave this Broly to last, or you could do 5th. Same thing with the green Broly. But the fact that this one is a bit more damage oriented compared to the green one, I'd go for him before Goku. That's what I would suggest. Okay, now for here you can diverge between two paths. And if we're going to go off the boss fight, then I would suggest going right. There's 3-fist stage, 3-fist stage, 5-fist stage or 4-fist stage, and then off of here. Or if you're not, well then you go for this 4-fist stage, this 4-fist stage here, 4-fist stage here, and you end up with 4-fist stage here. 4-fist stage is the entire way through. And if we could do that, here it's not really a bad fight. Kale's the only healer, and so is the 18, but being realistic, Kale's the higher priority. Rosie does do buffs as well, so get rid of her before turn 2 if you don't want any of the buffs. Now this here, the Piccolo fight. Piccolo does have a strike cover and a strike nullify, but strike cover is only pre-transformed and nullify is post-transformed. This Piccolo has a turn 3 super attack and debuffer, support, high damage enough, and he's just there, but he has death buffs. Be wary of that, this Piccolo has death buffs. But still go for him 5th. And if you are going for the other fight, end off with this here, then kill him before turn 3, which you should. He'll stun you no matter what. If you got a strike team, these two will cover change you. And if you have a blast team, for whatever reason you get him transformed, then yeah, he's got a blast cover. But otherwise, not too bad of a fight. This Brody, I would say, is your high priority. Then this Gogeta, then the fusing Gogeta will be next. After that, fair game, all you want. Now, if you went for the 3-fist, 3-fist, then it's gonna be somewhat simple enough, because then you can either do this fight, or yeah, no, you could do this fight if you want to, but I won't suggest it already. And then you obviously end up here. And we start off with the Vegeta clan fight, where we have a support, debuffer, cover change, or cover rescue, tag unit, cover change for strike. Otherwise, yeah, you get rid of him first. Then I would suggest getting rid of this Trunks and then this Trunks and Vegeta, or you could do either way. Then this Vegeta, because the fact that he will get his debuff buffs, because the fact there's more than 4. He will be like second last or last, whatever way you want to do it. And then leave that Trunks again, either last or second last. This here is within the second half, but I might as well cover it here. 16 does have a strike cover and will get buffs below a certain HP threshold, which is usually about, I think it was 50. I last checked, either that or 70. I've already forgotten. 21 here has a cover rescue, and she's just a support for transforming, girls, and regen. So yeah, that's going to be a bit of an issue. And then Jiro has a blast mitigation, and I think it's for a cover change. I'm not, I've already forgotten, but it's either whenever you attack him or he's a cover change for it. Either way, you're going to get rid of it either earlier on or at the end of the game. So, and he's literally a nothing unit. But if you were to do this here, 21 first, immediately give her the cover rescue. Then 16 will be your next target. Support 21. Red 21. I know transforming, obviously it's transforming stat, you'd rather get rid of that unit earlier. But being realistic, she's not really, I wouldn't say she's going to do too much. So that's why I have her 5th. Now for this here, I was very debating whether or not I was going for this here. Because, I mean, the other fight, we were already fully aware, but this ends up being within the second half. So, the way I suggest you do this here is be wary of the 17. If you have any, do not bring in yellow units. If you bring in a yellow unit for this fight, you are a actual moron. And I hope you do not win in life. I hope you don't succeed. I hope you get shafted in your next ban or someone. Alright? But the 17 does have a strike cover. He's got blast mitigation. Zamasu, Omega, and 13 have a strike cover. And 13 has, I think, guarantee super on turn 3. So be wary of that. Then Majube's just there and Kefla's just there. So the way I suggest you do this here is you get rid of 17 first, then go for Omega and then 13. If you can't kill Omega before 13's turn 3, by that I mean that he launches super attack by turn 3, then I would go for him second, then Omega, Majube, Kefla, and then Zamasu, because Zamasu has death buffs, and that's just, I would say, the easiest way you could possibly do this fight. Now for the first boss fight, on the right, if you're going right, is Dragon Ball Saga. And the way you want to do this here is be wary of this Piccolo, because again, debuffs. This Goku does have a good support and heals. Roshi has a blast cover. Goku here is strike cover. This Goku strike cover. This Piccolo strike cover. It's a strike team's somewhat worst nightmare. Actually, on this pick, that 6-8er does have strike cover, and he has death buffs. So I would say leave him to last, and then get rid of DKP, this Goku, and this Goku around the first area. Piccolo Jr. I would definitely say is a high priority as well. Otherwise, that's you. Done with the fight. Now, this is what I was on about whenever we were talking about the Super Warriors fight with the Suicide Bomber, Chaozu, because this is a Suicide Bomber team. Essentially, the debuffs when you hit and you don't hit, he has death buffs or death debuffs, I guess. 16 Cybermen, Chaozu, and Majin Vegeta, all below, I think, 50 or 30% of their HP, will activate their Suicide Bomb. So you'd rather kill them before the turn ends, otherwise you're mostly cooked. Otherwise it's a simple enough fight. Okay, now this fight here, the Majin Buu fight, I want to make you wary of this here because you got two Debors and Pui Pui. Why am I pointing them out? Because this Debor can stun you turn 2. He actually does some debuffs or buffs to his allies or you. He has, I think, near guaranteed super attack at some point. And leave this Buu and this Majin Vegeta to last. Otherwise, you're fine up because those are the two tankiest. So I was just getting rid of these 3 first and you're fine the rest of the way. And then for final note, the last fight, which is going to be Fusion Warriors. And the only reason why I went for this here, as opposed to, let's just say this here, you wouldn't. This fight, there's 5 Ultras. Would you rather deal with 3 or would you rather deal with 5? I'd rather deal with 3. This here is just Goku Black. Ultra Goku Black is just stupid. I don't like him. And then it's literally just the same fight but future ways and not black. So only reason why I went for this here. And the way you want to do this here is be wary. Universal cover, universal cover, universal cover, universal mitigation, blast mitigation, strike mitigation. He has no cover change. He's got a blast cover once you transform. Don't let these 2 transform before turn. As soon as turn 3 happens, they're going to transform. Do not let them transform. But you do want to get rid of Gogeta 4 somewhat immediately at the beginning of the fight. At least, so there's that. And this Gogeta here, leave him to last. He's going to be the tankiest of the lot. Not really you could do about that. But yeah, that's mostly of all the path of the stuff that I actually want to cover in regards to anything interesting. So now we're going to get onto the teams. I'm going to, again, so as I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to start off with what I thought I was going to do, then what I'm now going to do. And then I'm going to do the usual cover with like normal teams you should be running to ensure yourself a good score. So yes, it's going to be a fun time. But first, we're going to get into the cover changes because I almost completely forgot about that. And here's the predicted cover. Here's the cover changes for the orange Pathan. The Pathan that I thought, the main Pathan I was going to go for. And then for, I would say, the other Pathan, there will be either the same or at least maybe 2 or 3 extra strike cover changes. And little to no blast. I don't think the blast would change, but the strikes would increase by at least 1 or 2. Between 1 to 3, they'll increase. And then, this is what I predict, again, from the orange Pathan, the way I thought I was going to go, would be where I think the cover changes will happen. Obviously, strike cover changes are going to happen more often, and the blast cover changes do only happen within the second half, or they start happening within the second half, but even then, you might get at least maybe 1. And that's on a future fight, which I didn't cover because in all honesty, it's actually easy enough to deal with. But yeah, I would say that's what's going to happen. All the counters, all the universal stuff will happen no matter what, unless you go for that character first. So example, let's just pick an example. Let's just say, for example, oh no, not this one. You went to this Gohan, right? He's got a universal cover. If you go for him first, he won't proc it. He will not activate it, so you can get rid of him. And then that universal cover is null. But for this Broly, even if you go for him first, unless you've got an ultimate, he will still activate it. Unless you have an ultimate that's going to kill him one turn in one shot, that's still going to activate no matter what. So, cover changes you can avoid, but nullifications you can't. That's the main thing. So yeah, that's all I wanted to now for real this time. That's all I wanted to cover. Now we're going to get onto the teams, which I've already explained before. And obviously, as I've already said, we are going to be looking at like the Z and S tier teams before we go on to the actual team we're supposed to be going. So it's going to be short enough for the first bit, but then obviously usual. First team up would have been girls, and there's a wee bit left to do because 18 is not too much. But all Z and S tier, that's our first team would have made up if you had have been done. Next up would have been the Frieza Force, and it's mostly just free-to-play characters because, I mean, look at this here. Robry, Raspberry, Naval, Monray, Apul. It's not very much needed there. Next up would have been Uni Rival Universe, or in this case, Girls Rival Universe, for our third team, and would have only had Rosie and Kefla to have leveled up, would have been too bad. And then last up would have been the future team. I really tried to make this a good team from Z and S tier, because I could literally do almost nothing else. Hybrids is close, but this would have been a better option. Now for the real fights, which would have been the first one, Dragon Ball Saga. And I know it's not like a perfect representation or accurate way of the actual boss fight within the first half, but this, in all honesty, is like the best I could come up with. Because I don't have Mud Jr., and if I did, I'll be running him over, I don't know, let's just say the Chi-Chi or something. The purple Chi-Chi. I would have ran him, but I don't. So I just had to make do with what I had. And again, most of the characters still there from the original boss fight anyway. Next up would have been Fusion Warriors, or is Fusion Warriors. And as you see here, I have got nothing of friendship rank. But it's the fact that it's in both first and second half. I really tried, and I tried doing it off of the free ultra fight, which I showcased at the end. I tried doing it off that. It was really difficult because the fact I don't have VB, Ultra VB, I do not have him. And being realistic, the rest of them are all in C tier, which didn't help us at all. Next up would have been, or is going to be movies. And this is based off some fight, I've already forgotten. Yeah, no, the second fight on the far left. And again, everyone here but Janemba. I don't have Janemba on this here, only because of the fact that he's 5 stars. And I do not trust him. Whatsoever, I do not trust him. I trust this Red Piccolo more so than the Janemba, even though he's only a boost here. But can easily be gotten up if it absolutely needed it. He can be done. Now, then last up would have been a future team. And this is based off the one with Black, VB, and someone else. I forgot, I think there was only 2 ultras. But again, I don't have VB, so I had to make do. And again, as you see here, a lot of friendship rank needs to be put up in this team. This can work, most definitely. You will get the 30% boost. That will get you through it. But it's the fact that I don't have him friendship ranked at all. It was really difficult for me to make teams out of the boss fights there. So yeah, now we're on to the normal teams which you would run. And first up is Saiyan Saga. No, not Saiyan Saga, Saiyans. And as you see here, somewhat balanced enough. I mean, you could definitely run another green or you could run another red. But it's not bad. It's not too bad to say the least. Next up would be PO. And this is a team I'm actually starting to friendship rank up. If I ever get to use it. Because, yeah, there's not really much here. Black's support is very good. That's why it's strike-based team even though he's blast. But he can still work in team. Next up would have been Regen. And the fact that I have the Garlic Jr. and the Perfect Cell, I'm going to be running those two. If I ever run Regen again. I'm trying my best to get the friendship rank up. He is primarily, Garlic Jr. is strike-based, but can work very well on a blast setup. Next up would have been Future. And a better version of it. Only because the fact that every single one of these characters, very good. 2 transforming units, a free-to-play unit, so everyone should have him. And yeah, this in all honesty is very good, I will say. Next up would have been Uni Reps. And I know you don't see Ultra UI, but at this point I'm going to have to put them down for the moment being. Because, I mean, Golden Frieza is more than enough, to be honest with you. But you definitely can if you want to swap somebody out, like Golden Frieza. Next up, it would have been Frieza Force. And yeah, that's just the usual Frieza Force. It's a better version of Frieza Force than would have been for the Z and S tier. Only because the fact that we have 2 healers. Actually, 3 healers with Naval, Goku, and the rival Frieza. So yeah, it's a very good team nonetheless. Now, and then next up would have been LOE. I really tried to, I don't know, try to diversify. But then Ultra Frieza, I was like, you know what, here, screw it. Put him on. Because what I say about him, about Zamasu, does reply to him. So yeah, it's a fun time. And then would have been GT. There's another team. And Rage Shinron would have been the only person there. If you don't have him, Sin Shinron Zenkai and Majub are sitting there. Or if you want to, the Super Saiyan Vegeta, he's also a good substitute. And now we're getting on to the new characters. And our first up is going to be Zenkai Gohan. Because at this point, I'm now going to start including Zenkais. And we're going to do max stats because I don't have him maxed out at all. Because, you know, I don't have him arch boosted or Zenkai 7. So yeah, 299. Oh wait, that's not the right thing. Anyways, Friendship rank 1, 294. Easily can get that over to 305 at least. 239 can get that to about just barely 2500, which isn't too bad, I wouldn't say. Now obviously the usual stuff there. And then this here, 40% twice, so more than likely gets 80% by turn 2, which is fair enough. 50 key recovery doesn't really do much for him. 40% if there's an ally defeated. Yeah, no, that's useless. What point is there in having it? There is none, exactly. Anyways, next one, Unbreakable Will, Blast Arts. This is where you need to be careful because that one blast cover change you saw in the predictions is from the future fight and he's on it, and this is the reason. Because you're more than likely proc it if you run the blast team. And yeah, no, it's other than that 20% to allies, unless like he can more than likely tank. I wouldn't trust him, just in case. And I mean, it's 37%, very good. And the fact that 18% gets an extra blast defense, that's not bad. But I would still call it mid. Actually, shit. I'd argue that Zamasu and Goku Black is better. But if you're running low on a yellow Zenkai for future or hybrid, he's a good go. But hybrid already has Ultra Beast Gohan, so there's no point in even running this guy. And also, hybrids also has fat tanks. But if you don't have fat tanks, he's there waiting for you. I mean, I wouldn't suggest running him on a blast team because, I mean, the stat difference isn't exactly great. But still usable option. I mean, to be fair with you, he is team-wise better than the Black and Zamasu, but utility-wise, Black and Zamasu is better because of the fact that they actually debuff and their kit actually has something. So I would say I give him the same score, which I forgot, which is probably a 3. So yeah, it's a fun time. Moving on to the next character, which is Ultra Zamasu, which I didn't get. I'm still pissed off about it, but it is what it is. So yeah, we're going to go TOP, full stats out. 267, 260. Okay, you know what? Stat spread, not too bad. You can run him on either team. 2332. Obviously, he's going to get a lot of percentage boost anyway. He has the usual stuff. And yeah, okay, so future, he wants to be ran on future. If you got a future team, you need a purple, he's your man for strike-based teams. Because, yeah, 42%. Not bad. And then this here, let's see. 5 to gauge. And then per allied tags to himself. That's not bad. Own health 50 or lower. 50. I mean, we'll ignore that. The rest, we'll ignore that. Just block that out of the way. The rest of it, very good. So, anyways, first up, 110% and 10 key recovery. You see, as I said, can we run on Striker Blast? I didn't even look at his kit compared to Gohan's. I looked at Gohan's, but I didn't look at this. So yeah, 110, 10%. He easily just got himself up a good bit. And let's see here. And he gives himself extra. Okay. Very strong immediately. I mean, inflicts strong poison for 1 turn. On hit. 30 damage for 2 turns. Yeah, no, he's powerful. He gets 40% at least. Let's see here. Own key recovery on hit. Okay. Alright, fair enough. Okay. Okay. Oh, I had a look at the next ability. Oh god, that looks good. So, let's see here. 50% and actually a pretty decent range. 4% twice. Oh, that's 50 or low. Oh, that's not bad. Okay, that's a bit bad. I think 50 or lower is bad. But I think he might be an Ultra Frieza type situation where you kind of want him to be below 50% of his HP. Because Ultra Frieza does have the green card, which gives him the special move and upgrades it. But not really what you want. You don't want characters to be below 50% of your HP. At most you can have him above 40, but at most you want them above 40, but 50% is still a bit low. Let's see here. Okay, so that's, to be fair with you, that's a big number, 50%, and then can attack for all enemies. Basically, your team just whops them. So you kind of want. I'm trying to think. Do you want him to die the end of 1 turn, or do you want him to die at the beginning of the turn? Because whether or not it procs at the end of the turn to follow into the next turn, that would be broken, nearly. if it's on the last fight. But otherwise, that's mid. The rest of it is fine. Actually, the rest of his ability there is fine, but we'll ignore that. And actually, no, to be fair, other than the cover change, the rest of it's mostly shit. But that's only if you keep him above 50%. As soon as he's below 50% HP, instant god. Like, again, Ultra Frieza. I feel like as if Zamasu is just a better version of Ultra Frieza, but he's for future. And in fact, he's melee. So, if I had to grade Zamasu, I would say he, in all honesty, I give him a 6. If I'm being completely real. Because for purple melees for future, you kind of do need a purple melee for future, I would think. But, again, the fact the situation is close to Ultra Frieza because of the second ability, that's what's throwing me off. Because it's just why? Why have it there? It's no good. I mean, again, other than the strike cover change, and if defeated all enemies, that's just going to get ignored no matter what. But that is something to be wary about once he does come to CLP, which will probably be in about a year, in like 6 months time maybe, if we're lucky. But yeah, again, I will still grade him a 6. Very good unit in his first ability, very good. And once he gets below 50% HP, basically god. But again, he's very good. It's only because the fact that second ability drags him by a lot is the only reason why I give him a 6. So yeah, that's that. And that's been me for this season. Hope you enjoyed. If there's anything I left out, as per usual, leave it down in the comment section below. Team you want me to make, leave it down in the comment section below. And if you still want a couple tips here and there, obviously, again, leave them down in the comment section below. As you do, always leave stuff for comments. I will do my best to try and figure out something. I might look at it for all I know, or I might even respond depending on the situation. I can't speak. But yeah, I shall see you all next video.